Chinese medicine.
Yes, that's great.
Very impressive. So, okay, before we continue with our program, actually, I would like to ask for a little time to introduce about Connex, because, I can already see from the list of the audience that there are quite a lot of new names who probably still wonder, like, what is Connex and why we do this kind of webinar. So Connex is actually a co-working space, part of the Marquee group. And we have locations spread around in Jakarta and Bali. In Jakarta, we have venues in Cyber 2 Tower Kuningan, and then in Talavera Office Plaza, Sovereign Plaza, Pondok Indah Office Tower as well. However, we have also one center in Bali, which is located in Alamanda, Bali, near Jimbaran, and also near the airport. So normally in a co-working space, we do a lot of offline events. However, because of this pandemic, we switch our events into online, mostly via webinars. However, I'm just going to show you a little video that probably can explain more about Connex. So here goes.
The year 2020 has definitely changed everything. It changes the way I see things, the way I interact with each other, and the way I do my work. Now, I need a place to work where I know it's safe and convenient, yet it's able to help me grow my ideas. A place where the word contagion means creativity spreading on. A place where I can turn my ideas into reality. So let's create and grow together at Connex.
All right, so that was the video on Connex. So as you can all see that, Connex is actually, it's a perfect place for you entrepreneurs out there that are looking for a working place that is, like quite casual, but at the same time, it's also allow you to grow your ideas, so that's what Connex really about. And speaking about that, I also have several promotion of Connex that I would like to share with you guys. Right, so as I have mentioned before, we have the location in Bali, and for this month only, we have a very special promotion for you who are looking for a workspace in Bali. The promotion is 50% off from our unlimited working hours. So from the normal rate of 2 million rupiah per month, now it's only 1 million. And then the same kind of promotion also applies in one of our locations in Jakarta, which is in Connex Alamanda Tower, Jakarta. Another 50% off. So from 2.2 million, it's only 1.1 million. Again, guys, this is a very special promotion, like the so-called COVID price. So if you wish to get them, go grab them quickly. I will show you the link afterwards, how you can register to this special promotion. And we have also another new product that we just unleashed, which is online studio space. That this is intended for companies or maybe individuals out there that are looking for a place to launch their product online. So if you're gonna launch your product online, you need a proper place to do it, right? Even though your audience is gonna be online. So your house, your regular office may not be a suitable place, because probably like of the space, of the internet connection. So Connex provides that space. We have everything ready for you, starting from spacious venues, professional team that can help you, assist you during the event, and also stable internet connection. And we are also calling the event organizers out there who probably gonna want to do a collaboration with us on this promotion. So the contact number is down there, as you can see from the screen. There are two numbers two contact numbers for Jakarta and Bali. And in Connex, we do a lot of events, as I have mentioned to you before. And this week is actually a week full of event. So if today we talk about wellness, tomorrow we are going to have sharing from successful women who managed to conquer the business world. So we have three very good speakers tomorrow. Rachel Octavia, she's the founder of the F People. And then Lisa Zen Purba, the retail sales manager, marketing management expert. Yeah. And then Rosdiana Setyaningrum, the co-founder of MS School. And it will be hosted by my colleague Ilham. The timing is 4 p.m. Jakarta and 5 p.m. Bali. All right. So be careful with the timing there, because we know a lot of our audience came from Jakarta and Bali. It's two separate time zones. Yes. So again, 4 p.m. Jakarta and 5 p.m. Bali. And then on Thursday, we are going to have our first collaboration webinar with Traveloka. This will be conducted in Bahasa Indonesia, and the topic is about how to give presents in a new and exciting experience. Okay, this will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Jakarta and 4 p.m. Bali time. And you want to join this one because you might be able to get a gift voucher in the value of 500,000 rupiah from Traveloka gift voucher. And on Friday, talk about digital marketing strategies. We are going to have speakers from Sharp, Mr. Pandu Setio. He's the Senior PR and Brand Communication Manager from Sharp Indonesia. And then Max Romanowski, he's the Regional Growth Manager of Go Mobile. And he will also be joined by Febriansa Hermawan, the Managing Director of Sabda Creative. Febriansa also became a speaker in one of our earlier webinar. So this will be his second time joining us. And it will be at 4 p.m. Jakarta and 5 p.m. Bali. And on Tuesday, 1st of December, if any of you looking for a way to live and work in Canada, this is perfect for you. We have three speakers, very knowledgeable in that area. Carolina, Katina, and Georgina. They will be talking about how you'll be able to get a Canadian working visa. Okay, it will be on the Tuesday, 1st of December, 2:30 p.m. Jakarta and 3:30 p.m. Bali. Now, this is not a webinar, but this is actually going to be a virtual business matching. So Connex, in collaboration with Marquee, our sister company, we are going to help an online virtual business matching between Indonesian companies, obviously, and Malaysian companies that are export ready and who are competitive. Yeah, the Malaysian companies that are going to be featured in this event, their industries ranging from manufacturing, from pharmaceutical manufacturing, electrical manufacturing, until the service industry. Okay, it's going to be held next year. Okay, 19th to the 20th January 2021. It's going to be online via Zoom, and it's a free registration. Okay, if you wish to register your company, you have to do it before the December 22nd. Okay, and the contact numbers are down there. You can also contact me. This is my number to get more info about this event. And you can also scan this QR code. This will give you the link to go to the registration form, and a lot of the information about the companies are listed in there. Everything is already completed. So you just have to scan it and go there to check it by yourself. Okay, so as you can see, Connex, we always willing to be more than just a co-working space. All of our initiatives, our events, they are designed to allow you to upgrade your skills, grow your network, and expand your horizon. And the good thing is almost everything is free. So check it out and register. The links can be provided. You can ask me for the link later on, or you can also get in touch with us, to get the links for the upcoming events and any updates about Connex from this hyperlink. It's very simple, desti.page /Connex space. All right, last but not least, before we move on with our program, I'm just going to lay out the webinar house rules. It's going to be very simple, just 2 rules. The first one is for all participants out there, kindly turn off your video and your audio as well, okay? This allows the speakers to talk freely and provide the information needed by the other audiences, okay? And you will be reminded by us, one of the hosts, if you still turn them on. And then every participant, you are allowed and actually encouraged to ask questions throughout the program, okay? You can directly put your questions in the chat room, okay? In the chat room anytime during the program, and you can feel free to ask in Bahasa or in English, okay? If you ask in Bahasa, we will translate the questions for you, okay? All right, so Stephanie and Peter, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to have you as our panelists. So I think the first question, yeah, about the whole thing that I want to ask is, what is actually Qigong? Peter, maybe, or Stephanie, you can start.
Yeah, sure. The Qigong is part of traditional Chinese medicine, and there's the different aspects of Chinese medicine. There's the acupuncture and the Chinese herbal formulas, and also Chinese massage, which is called Tuina, and Qigong healing is like the 4th aspect. And there's a couple of different parts of Qigong. There's the medical Qigong, where you treat people without actually touching them, and so it goes right back to it. It's like the Japanese Reiki, if people don't understand Reiki, where that's the Japanese version, and Qigong is the Chinese version. And there's also Qigong exercises, which you do to bring on health and well-being inside yourself by doing exercises that create a movement of energy inside your body that breaks up any dysfunction inside the body and brings it back good health. So that's just a short version of Qigong, because it's a rather large subject, and that's basically what it does. It's a Chinese based on traditional Chinese medicine. It's based on the understanding of how they can bring health by having abundant energy in your body, and how to use that energy to create wellness and to override any dysfunction or any illness inside the body. So that's probably the easiest way to describe a rather large subject.
And I'll add to that. Peter once shared with us, like, the short answer of Qigong is, if you break it down, Qi is our vital life force. It's our energy. And Gong is mastery. So we are mastering the life force energy within ourselves for health and vitality. So I think, that's a summarized version of Qigong. Yeah. So does that kind of give you an idea?
It's just a bit. Come back, me.
I think he's like, okay, well, maybe while waiting, we might just introduce ourselves while waiting.
Yeah,
so
sure,
maybe Pete can start.
Yeah, so hi. So he's already introduced me. So I'm a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. I'm an acupuncturist and a herbalist, and I do Chinese. I do all of that, all the aspects of traditional Chinese medicine. And one of my loves in life is that I do the Qigong as well. I do the medical Qigong healing, and I also teach Qigong itself. And so this is the thing that I'm doing at the moment. That's not where I came from. I have a very, very different background than the medical world. I started off doing lots of things, but one of my biggest parts of my life was in the military. And I spent 16 years in the army, and I was in the special forces for several years. And I stumbled across Chinese medicine when I was trying to get something fixed in my body. I had a dysfunction. I had a crooked neck. And I went to all sorts of doctors and nobody could fix it. And so somebody suggested I go and see an acupuncturist. I thought, they'll be able to fix it. And I went and saw this acupuncturist, and he was incredible. And he fixed it in a couple of visits. And then I started wondering, okay, so what's this all about, this acupuncture stuff? And after I visited him that first time, I've never been back to a Western medicine doctor since then, because I've always gone either to him. He's not here anymore. He's passed away. But I always go, now I treat myself. Of course, I cheat.
Put needles on yourself.
Put needles in myself, so it's easy. But I discovered that there was a whole other way of medicine that was in a natural way without taking out the house intervention. It allowed you to have this incredible, level of health. And as I say, I've never been back to a doctor since. I don't even have a doctor. And so it's changed that. And so I went from the military and to do one thing, I've changed right over into the other side of the field where I'm trying to help people in a different, very, very different way of life. And so it's quite a dramatic change. But I like both of them. I always say that one's very, very young and one's more yin. And so I'm working on both scopes to do both of them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's me. So I think that's it.
Right. By the way, sorry, there was a problem with my internet connection before, so I kind of logged out from the session. So I believe you were telling us about how you got involved with Qigong and in the beginning how you were teaching this, right?
Well, maybe I want to start with teaching, then can continue on.
With the teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get started teaching Qigong?
So what got me going with the teacher? So I went to my acupuncturist and I was lucky enough to have him for a few years. And so anytime something went wrong with me, I just went to go and see him because he could just fix anything. So I was quite lucky with that. And then it got to a stage in my life, I had a few things that happened in my life where the wheels fell off a little bit. And so I went to talk to this guy. I said, what can you do? Can you help me? And I knew that he'd been teaching Tai Chi and Qigong. I knew he was a Qigong master. And I said, can you help me? He said, yeah, come to class. It was the first time in over 10 years of visiting. It was the first time he ever mentioned it. He never, ever inquired about me coming to it. It was the first time he said, come and do some Tai Chi. So I went to one of the classes of Tai Chi and I've been doing it every day for the last 30 years after I saw him. It had that bigger effect. It was like the answer to what I've been looking for my whole life, and I realized there was something else. And it made it just resonated with me, and okay. And I love it. And so he was the one who taught me the Qigong. He taught me the Tai Chi. He was an incredible exponent. He was incredible. He was a doctor of Chinese medicine as well. And so then I just got really interested in doing it then. So I did my degree. I did my degree in Chinese medicine. And then I started teaching it as well. And I just been teaching for 25 years now. So I just love it. There's something amazing in what it does. And it's nice to pass on to other people what somebody gave to me. And it changed my life. So it's nice to pass it on to other people. That what I got, what I saw, and how it affected me. Yeah. Pretty much.
Right.
It's a short one.
Yeah, that's very nice. Like you find something that, like you feel that beneficial for you and you want to pass it on to other people, right? Yeah, it's very nice to know. How about you, Steph? So how did you get started on your quest in the path of holistic wellness?
Well, for me, it started about 8 years ago when I was caring for my mother. She was going through, some illnesses, and I just knew that there were things that I could do to support her at home to promote her well-being, mentally, emotionally, and that's when I got into more holistic aspects, things that I could do at home. Aromatherapy, essential oils, nutrition, removing chemicals, meditation, breath work, energy work, healing. So, I got the doctor to kind of take care of all that aspect, but home care was when we did a lot of self-care into, her well-being. And I saw a tremendous impact on the quality of life that she had, that it made me go, whoa, like, what's this? It made me question and made me go, okay, there's definitely something in this. And at that time, I was personally going through a health condition that doctors said was incurable. And I had suffered that for 14 years in my life. And through that journey of experience of care, being my mom's full-time carer, I also started to implement whatever I was doing, to myself. And within that year, I went back to the doctor, we did scans, and she just said, you're normal. And it just was unbelievable that I was just like, wow, okay. And then a few years ago, I had another health scare. And it was another thing that doctors said, it's not something that can go away on its own. We need medical intervention. And this is when I, stepped up another level, like knowing what I learned along those few years, as like, there's got to be a way that I can do this on myself, on my own, right? And then, so this is where I got into Qigong. So that's how I discovered Peter, when I walked into his medical Qigong class. And those 5 days absolutely changed my mind and changed my life, blew my mind. And it's exactly what he was saying. His teacher gave him something that he wanted to pass on. And I am kind of like a product of what he wants to pass on to others. And through that journey, I was able to go through self-healing and again, reverse a medical condition that doctors said there's no way that it can go away on its own. So to me, I feel like that's a huge testament to, the power of our own bodies and the intelligence that it has if we give it the right platform to heal. And all these platforms comes in so many ways. And for me, I figured out that stress was a big factor that caused what was going on in my life a few years ago. So stress causes a lot of illnesses in our bodies, and that's what manifested. So as soon as I recognized it was stress that was causing that, I decided to change and, adapted several ways of managing it. And one of that was Qigong. And like I said, it's changed my life a few years. I practice it, daily, and I now incorporate Tai Chi because Pete's been teaching Tai Chi as well. And it's such a simple exercise. It's any beginners, no one needs to know and have any experience, but it's so potent and powerful that it's life-changing. And I too wish, for so many people to also experience the same. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, asking as someone who is, I'm quite blind here about, holistic medicine. So you're saying that Qigong, you were saying that you had a medical condition that was not curable by modern medicine standard, right? And by doing Qigong, that practically was healed. So
it was I call it holistic lifestyle medicine. That is just not one thing, because we always have to look into 3 aspects, like, our mind, our body, our spirit, our environment, like all that plays a huge part, like our diet, like what we eat. But then our diet is also not in a sense of what we're consuming. Our diet is also who are the people we spend time with, like what are we doing in our environment, our working environment, our career, our physical, aspect. Are we moving? Like, so it's always, a combination to promote healing in every different level. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I noticed that there's quite a lot of audience who just joined us here, like literally in the past 2 minutes. So, before we move on further, I just would like to ask again. So, what is exactly Qigong and how it started? Like just in a nutshell. So probably, I'm sure there's a lot of people who have absolutely no idea what it is, but they are anxious to hear. Especially hearing from your life experience.
Yeah, very cool. So welcome to the new people who have just joined us. So we've talked about a few things, and you have these recorded. You have these recorded so people can go back and watch them. So the people who missed what we've already said, you can always go back and watch the first part of it, because there were some interesting things that came up. So, but for the people who just joined, the Qigong's what it is part of Chinese medicine. It's part of the 4 aspects of Chinese medicine, which is the acupuncture and the Chinese herbs and the Chinese massage or the Chinese manual therapy. The Qigong is about the energetic part of the body where your moving energy around the body to take away imbalances inside your energy field and inside your body. And there's just lots of different pieces to it. It's complicated in some way, but it's really simple in another way as well. But if we think of the body as our energy, the Chinese spent their understanding of medicine and the energetic part of our body. If you think of Western medicine, they have the skeletal system, then they have the circulation system, then they have the lymphatic system, they have the endocrine, and they have all these systems piled on top of each other, the nervous system. And Chinese medicine started with, they had the energetic field, where the Western medicine doesn't have this model. It has all the other ones, and the Chinese has the energy field with all the meridians on it. And they don't, that's not part of Western medicine. So then they've perfected this over thousands of years, where they understand the energetic body very, very well, and all how that functions, how it interferes with us when we're out of balance with it, and how we get extreme good health when it's in balance. And then that energy field affects the bones, affects the blood, affects the water, affects everything else. But if the energy is not in balance, no matter what you do with the other one, it's going to be dysfunction. And so they've mastered that piece. Well, Qigong's part of how to keep that energy field in balance, how to keep your energy strong so you feel vital every day you wake up. You've got lots of energy, you don't feel tired, you don't feel run down, your mind's really clear, you can see what you do, your focus is really good, your emotional state is strong and healthy, so that you have a very, very different experience of life when your energy field is strong. And we all know when you're tired, life's tough. When you're riding that untired, you're sitting, you wake up in the morning and go, oh God, another day. And you're pushing yourself through the day. Well, see, Qigong likes to change that. We wake up in the morning, yay, what am I going to do today? I feel fantastic. And it's about how to get that back. You know, how to be like my 4-year-old son running around like all day from morning to day, runs around at 1,000,000 miles an hour. How do we have that as an adult? And you can. Yeah. And that's what I think is really important. And the Qigong brings that back to your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. That's the short version.
And how did it started? Like when this the Qigong movement was start to be developed, you know, and heard worldwide.
You mean in the world? So Qigong in China goes right back to BC. It goes thousands of years, 3,000 years. There's recorded documentational scripts, and there's also etchings where they found people doing Qigong exercise. It goes right back to the Yellow Emperor, and talking about Qigong policy and the breathing exercises and how to do that. So it's a very old lineage behind it. But it didn't come to the West till a lot later, because remember, this is all in Chinese characters. So it wasn't until people started to go into China, into the monasteries and the medicine, and find these things, and then realize, oh, heavens, see, there's a whole medical piece that we don't even know about. And the Qigong has been kept pretty much to themselves for a long time. And I would imagine over the last 50 odd years, it's been coming out to the West, and and I was just so lucky that I ran into it early in my life, where it had an effect on my life for me to go, okay, well, what's that? I want to know about that. I want to know about that, because we don't have that in our world. We don't have that in the Western world. And then realize that how little of it was known. And so part of mine is, because my teacher's teaching to me, is I want to spread it out to the world so more people find out about it, because it is just that good. You know, and that's one of my goals, is to get as many people not involved in it, but more about even just understanding it, and understanding we have a different choice to make. We can make a different choice in our health. Yeah, and it doesn't mean just going to the Western medicine doctor. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing to go there, because sometimes you do need to go to the Western medicine doctor. I'm saying there's just another way you can have extraordinary health, and then you don't need to go to the doctor.
Prevention.
Prevention is better than cure.
Preventative.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's what I'd say. Cheers.
And you know, like after all of these years teaching Qigong, like what are the benefits that you feel that you were able to gain during the whole experience?
Benefits of teaching.
Was that to me? Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
Actually, it's for both of you. I mean,
no, it's fine. Yeah. No, we're both talking to that one because it's a big subject.
Yeah.
So the benefits of it, God, where do we start with that? The benefits, we have to go back to the original part of who we are as a human being. We're a human being in a physical body having this experience in our lives. We're having a life experience in a physical body, and we're energetic. We have energy in our body. And this energy needs other energy to survive. We need to eat food, which we get energy from. We need to breathe, which we get energy from. And so the experience of putting all this together and practicing that, it opens up a different experience of who we are as a human being. Yeah, and not only through our energy, through our body, but the way we think, the way we see, the way we experience life changes. We just have a different experience. We find out more about who we are in the physical body and what that body's really capable of. And so if you think of the Western medicine, we think of the physical body, and it's dictated by something like the Olympic Games. It's how fast you can run, how far you can throw a spear, how high you can jump, and all those sort of things dictates this is the physical. But the energetic body is not a thing that we have sports for. It's something else. And our energetic body is just huge. Who we are energetic and what the power that is enormous, and it's untapped. And so they're starting to move more into that to understand who is this, what is this power, and how do we control it? How do we use it? How can we maintain really good health with it? How can we use it for the vitality of our lives to get all that power back? And what's that? And so I'm intrigued with that, and it changes every day, and I just want to learn more and more about it. But what I want to do is pass it on to other people, so people can realize that we're bigger than a physical body. We have a physical body, but we're bigger than that. We are so much more bigger than that, and that we're bigger than our mind, our thoughts. We have another part we can tap into, and that's the energy of who we are. That's what I'd say. You want to add something to that?
Yeah, it's also something that I've learned doing Qigong is harnessing the energy, and this is where our kidney Jing, this is where Peter teaches, like, we are given like prenatal Jing is when we're born, we're given like so much like energy and life force depending on our parents, how healthy they are. If the family has long life and longevity, then we are predispositioned to live healthier and longer life. But if not, then our kidney Jing, so our kidney's like the battery and the life force in our body. And if we're constantly tired based on the lifestyle that we live, we're not eating well, or we're not sleeping well, maybe substance abuse and all that all drains our life force. So, and what Qigong does is, again, tapping into the energy is, from food, from air, but Qigong allows us to tap into a life force that's outside of that, like the energy that's outside. And only Qigong is able to bring our kidney Jing, our essences, back up. So if we've been given this, but it's like battery that's running low, but then we're able to bring that back up. And that's where vitality and longevity comes in. And being able to share that, and me too, like teaching that to others, through, little groups that I do, workshops or retreats, and giving people that experience and go, wow, that was interesting. Like, I've never felt this before, but I think I'm feeling energy moving in my body. Or, I'll give a set of exercise and suddenly someone will come and tell me and said, hey, I've slept, so much better now than I have been. So it's, giving people that feeling.
I see. By the way, before we move on, again, audience, if you have any questions for Peter or Stephanie, feel free to ask them. You don't need to wait until the end of the session. You can post your questions directly in the chat room. Or, I noticed I've been receiving some question as well through my mobile phone. So if you happen to know my contact, you can post your questions right away, and I relate them to Stephanie and Peter. This one actually is a very interesting question, and I'm going to go ahead with asking this question right away, because I'm also curious about this one. So basically the question is, can everybody do Qigong, or is it only for certain people in a certain age group? And if you happen to be handicapped, can you also do Qigong? Yeah, that will be your first question. So sorry to jump in there, but this is very interesting questions.
It's good. So the easy answer is yes.
I think people, sometimes I think what they try to say is, like,
But the answer is yes.
is it as people think that yoga are difficult if you never do yoga, so probably they associate any kind of holistic treatment as something like yoga, so maybe that's why the question was asked, if you're handicapped, or if you're very, you never do sports, for example, can you still do Qigong? Is it going to affect the way you learn Qigong?
So, great. Sorry, my sense of humor. So Qigong is one of these things that doesn't take a lot of physical stress and strain in your body. It's not like, and I'm not saying all yoga is like that, but some of the yoga postures are quite difficult to do. Qigong is really simple to do. And the movements of your arms and how you move your arms and how you hold yourself, relatively anybody can do it. And even if there is physical ailments and stuff, you might have a sore shoulder, you might have sore legs, you can do them sitting down. You can do them lying down. I've had people that are paraplegic and they can't move their body, but they can move their arms doing exercises and making a difference inside their body. People that have had stroke victims have done Qigong and start getting movement back. So the limitation's not, I got a picture, my wife put a picture up of, I do weekly classes, live, online classes. And I got a picture of my son sitting in front of the screen, in front of the Zoom screen. And I was thinking he's sitting there and he's practicing Qigong with me. And he's 4 and he's doing Qigong in front of the screen. I'm sitting there and I'm going, I just got tears in my eyes watching this young kid enter a world, and he's going to grow up knowing that that's already exists. So I didn't know when I was young. I had no idea this existed. I had a very different lifestyle. And so I just want to go back to you about anybody. Well, you can start at 4 and you can probably finish at 110. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything that it's just it opens a door that anybody can do, anybody can practice and get the benefit from it.
Exactly. You don't even need to know any movements, like complete beginner, never even heard about Qigong, but walk in. So, for example, like over the last weekend, I participated, I was one of the speakers for a wellness summit, and I was teaching 5 elements Qigong. And there was a participant who was living in Germany, and she had never heard of Qigong, never done any exercise, and we were doing a virtual. So after that experience, it left a really, really wonderful, positive experience in her life, that she immediately rang her partner and said, right, starting tomorrow, we are both going to do Qigong. I'm going to find somewhere in Germany where they teach Qigong. So, and again, like she had never, ever experienced it. So, and the movements are so beautifully easy and fluid but it's so potent and powerful, because it's working on all our meridians, our organ systems and functions. Like you don't really need to feel like, okay, I don't know if I'm feeling something, but just know that it's working, it's magic internally, for us to have life force. And I always, now when I look back, when you see in the Chinese movie and the, Kung Fu, and you go to a park in China and you see all these old people, like, grandpa, grandmothers, but they have such healthy, like full of life force, and they're so healthy. They're like in their 80s or 90s, but they're so flexible and they're just, a pink of health. And I now know what their secret was. And they started Qigong or Tai Chi or Kung Fu or some sort of martial arts very, very early on in their life, to be able to give them that kind of vitality and life force. Yeah. And now I say it's never too late. It's never, ever too late to start. Yeah.
I want to add a bit to that too. So let's go to Beijing. So we'll be in Beijing with the park, and I've trained with people in Beijing in the parks. And there's not a lot of young people, so there's mainly old people doing the Qigong and Tai Chi. And so I asked people, so why are the young people doing Qigong and Tai Chi? If it's so good, why don't they do it? And the answer was, because they don't know. And I said, so how do you mean? What he says, And I asked a few people and they got the same answer every time, but they said, I wish I had have started earlier. And this is what they think, because it wasn't until they start, because they thought that Qigong and Tai Chi was an old person's thing. And then once they start doing that, they go, damn, I wish I had to start when I was 20. It would have changed everything. And so they telling young people that, oh, you should be doing Qigong. And the young people say, no, it's old for old people. And then when they get old, they do it. And they go, oh, damn, I wish I had listened to Auntie and my granddad had started it. I wish I had it. And then the same thing goes on and it just cracked me up. And I asked a lot of people and they had the same response every time. I wish I had started it earlier. So I just love what you said. That's so true. Yeah. But we're lucky. We get to tap into it when we're a lot younger. So we get to start a lot earlier. So we're pretty blessed with that. Yeah, different spirits.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just curious, like of all these years, both of you have been teaching and introducing Qigong. Like, any interesting experience, like that you encountered during your teachings, and then from your students, like.
From you, like what? Yeah.
Something that's happened with my students. Oh,
yeah,
where do I start?
Yeah, it's got 25 years worth of stories.
25 years of stories. Shit. My aim was good. I would say that one of my joys in life is when somebody messaged me from the other side of the world who's come and done one of my classes here in Bali or somewhere, and they say to me, it's changed my life. And I get no more joy than that when people get out of a life where they're not happy and they're doing things they're not necessarily happy, and they've got themselves in a bit of a hole in their life, and then they make a change and they get out and do something different. And I'm not saying that they need to do Qigong. Qigong's a doorway to experience a different part of life, but the mere fact that they have the courage to actually go and do something different and have a different result. And I love it. And I got one the other day from a woman who I didn't, because I don't know how to fix people. I have no idea. And she did an online class. And she said, I've never felt so good in my life. She said, I didn't realize this existed. And to me, that makes me get out of bed in the morning. It makes me realize that, as I say, I want to pass back what somebody changed my life. I want to help other people. But there's the endless stories of health. I mean, there's just I don't want to go into individual cases of health, how it's changed people's lives, how it's affected people emotionally. It's affected people in their workplace and their relationships. It just had a huge effect because it goes back to the root cause of the dysfunction. But what it does is take you back to who you really are. Who are you? Who is your soul that lives inside your body? Who is that person? And what's that person's skill that they bring into this world? What's that person's story that's stopping them being the potential of who they really are as a human being? What's that? Qigong opens a door. It helps to open a door to see who you really are as a person. And you go, whoa. And then you see the potential of who you really are in a whole different light. You go, oh, well, I want to know more about that person. And I think that's probably, as a teacher, I get to watch people unfold that and discover who they really are. And this young lady beside me was a good example of that. And I've seen Steph just flower, and she was already a beautiful soul. She's just a more beautiful soul now. And there's a freedom that Steph has she never had before. And I just love watching that. And she's out doing what she loves in life. She's doing what makes it, what's her passion. And I just love that it's changed her. I mean, she was changing anyway. I'm not taking responsibility for that. I'm just saying that the Qigong was one of the vehicles that helped her change. And I was just fortunate enough to be the one that led her into that discovery. And the rest of it's all been Steph. She did it herself. I just support her in her change, and now she's in really, we live in Bali, we have a great life, we have great friends, we become really good friends over the years, and it's just a different life, and I just want to help people do that.
Yeah.
That's the teaching piece, that's what the teaching does.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I mean, likewise for me, like I don't, have the long history, like Peter has, but in the years of me being a holistic wellness guide and on this path, it's enabled me to also touch people's lives in many different ways, small, large ways. And every little things, like every little success story, even if it's so little, it just brings me so much joy. And it's exactly what Pete says. It's what keeps me going every day. And actually, in fact, just before, we had this session, I was visiting my friend in a hospital. She had broken her back and she had surgery. And I was there just for support and giving her healing through energy work, through aromatherapy, on her feet and her back. And it's just to provide her that relief. And she told me, like, you just transformed my hospital room into this beautiful healing space. I brought music. I brought music, cool. Like healing music along. Yeah. I brought, I made her like homemade cookies. So that's like that nourishment, from the heart, and just really, really spend time with her, with that. And a lot of the times it's not, what you do, like, in a physical sense, like baking is one thing. Yes, like, actions of, healing or, energy work or giving relief. But I think a lot of that times is just being there to support that person, holding that space emotionally, as she's going through really difficult times. Like, I think, for her, she said that's the biggest gift, and me being, present for that is also a gift for me. So it's that giving and receiving has been a huge factor in doing what I love and being able to impact people's lives through, like, I'm in essential oils. I'm a clinical aromatherapist, also clinical biotherapy. I'm integrative nutrition and also a Qigong trainer. So all these things have allowed me in a very holistic sense to impact on people's well-being. And again, like what Pete says, it just gives them that little doorway, that little avenue to go, okay, there are other solutions and there are other ways of living. Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say something, and I just want to tell you the cookies are really good. I just had one before we started. They're very, very good. Steph's an incredible chef, so the cookies are great.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's, nutrition and, food. That's also a big part of my passion too. Whole foods and plant medicine. So plant medicine is a huge thing of what I do. Plant medicine, whole foods and essential oils, and giving people that kind of lifestyle for vitality. Yeah.
Right. Also, you mentioned before about seeing people start to learn how to practice Qigong online. And I understand that you've done a lot of retreats, right, before on Qigong. So will you recommend people to start learning online, or it's better to go to a retreat, like meet the instructor and so on? What do you guys think about that?
That's a big question too. So the world has changed somewhat, as we all know. So I've been running in-person Qigong courses here in Bali for quite a few years now. And last year we ran a 200-hour course as well, in person. We had a lot of people come here, lived in for a whole month and did the whole 200 hours, which was fantastic. And now we've turned that around and we're doing live 200 hours, which we're actually in the middle of one at the moment. We're up to week 8. We've got 9 weeks. We've only got a couple of weeks to go of an online 200, which we've done. It has 207 lessons on it. It's a huge thing over 9 weeks. So we've taken it into a different realm. And so people will quite often ask you, what's the difference between a live practice and a virtual practice? I said, well, you can't even compare them. One's an elephant and one's an orange. They're not even the same fruit. They're this totally different baby. And so I really like the live ones because they have a certain energetic to it. But the online ones has a totally different flavor. And I actually like the online ones because something happens that's different to when you have people in a class. The other day, yesterday, the day before, I was standing in my garden and we're streaming to the world and people are doing the exercise at exactly the same second. The Bali lightning.
Dr. Wayne.
The Bali Thunder. And we were streaming to the world, and I said, what happens is when you've got people all around the world standing on the earth, and I said, I'll just do the picture of it, standing on the earth all around the world. And somehow or other, we're connecting through our feet to each other. Something remarkably happens when you know people at exactly the same second all around the world training with you at the same time and doing exactly the same exercise. And profound things happen. I didn't know this was going to happen. It was just something that came with it. So doing online courses now has its own beautiful thing that happens with it. And it's such a different thing from a live one. And I think they're both beautiful in their own way. They're just different. They're just totally different experience. But it still brings you into a connection with yourself and something bigger than yourself. And no matter what it does and however we're doing it, I should say I quite like it, like we're doing now with the Zoom. We have this connect with people, and we do Q&As every time we do these courses, and we sit and chat with each other, and people ask these amazing questions about Qigong, about Chinese medicine. They bring up questions about the emotional, different things and emotions. So we have this really personal conversation. And the last time we finished our course, I had people crying because they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay connected to the group. And this is a virtual group because we created this connection with each other, not only through the Q&A, but inside the exercise itself. Because when you train, you know you're not alone. You know that somebody else in the world is doing it with you. It's a very unique experience. So I think they're both beautiful, but they're both very, very different, and they're beautiful in their own way. You know?
And I mean,
You've done
having
both.
said that, I've done both. Yeah. Personally, I much prefer in person because, you are in that space and the energy is so different, and you're there to also, be guided, with, postures, and it's a totally different feeling. For me, I much prefer in person, but other people, can do well online. And which is why, because of how the year has turned out, Pete has stopped a lot of his in-person courses, and, he started doing online until maybe a couple of months ago. I said to Pete, Pete, I think it's time for us to try and do an in-person, but we will make it a safer space, smaller group, obviously going according to protocols of what's happening now. And he misses it. He misses also, teaching in person, in the group. So this is where we came up with a retreat. So an idea came up where we want to give people this experience. And also, a lot of people locally in a local market that are able to travel within Indonesia. So we're trying to also reach out to all of you and say, this experience is available here for you. And so hence the whole 5 elements Qigong and 6 senses retreat came about. And so this is what we're going to be doing in a few weeks here in Bali, 16th to the 20th. And it's going to be a complete immersion of all our senses, even immersion in nature. So maybe Edward, you could play that video.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So it really gives people an understanding of what we're about, and why we're doing what we do, and giving people that experience. So it'd be great if you can just share that.
Okay, I'm gonna share the screen now.
Every journey starts with a small step. For me, that step was 8 years ago, and it was a step towards the possibility that a holistic lifestyle could lead to a healthy, balanced existence.
Qigong, what it does is give you physical body experiences. You start feeling things that you never knew existed inside. You feel energy moving, or you feel some opening. All of a sudden you see clarity and you see things very differently, and you go, okay, what's that?
Peter's Qigong teachings were nothing short of a life-changing experience for my family and I. The concepts we explored during my first 5-day course opened me up to the endless possibilities of a life lived in abundance and gratitude. It became my launching pad to follow my heart and delve deeper into a holistic existence that was calling me. I moved forward, exploring our body's amazing ability to heal. I began studying the medicinal benefits of essential oils and plant-based medicine.
I think being a Qigong teacher opens up this possibility of change. And it's like what my teacher did to me. He introduced me to another way of life that I didn't know existed. And I got a glimpse of something that was just extraordinary. And I go, whoa, okay, what's that? And I just love helping people get a glimpse of that.
Inspired by all I had learned, I began to understand the importance of our diets in a broader sense. What we think, feel, consume, and everything we do in life. The more I understood, the more knowledge I craved.
There's a possibility there's something else in the world that we didn't know what was there. What I really love to do is get people to understand what's inside their heart so they can get a glimpse of their potential as they are as a human being. That's what you get to do as a Qigong teacher.
My curiosity quickly became my passion. My passion evolved into a lifestyle that I feel fortunate to have found. I have learned from some truly gifted mentors, teaching genuine alternatives to what we are taught while growing up. Beautiful complementary modalities like integrative nutrition, clinical biotherapy, Qigong teacher training, clinical and metaphysical aromatherapy, plant-based nutrition, raw food mastery, and lifestyle medicine.
Somebody did it for me one day, and all I just want to do is give somebody else the same experience back.
Peter gave me the opportunity to experience a new view of life, and now we both want to share that with you. Join us for your first steps. 5 Elements, 6 Senses Retreat. A chance to choose a life of your making.
All right, so that was.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Yochi. I'm Marissa.
So that was basically the upcoming retreat, yeah?
Yes, so we're having that in December, next month, in a few weeks. And if Edward, I think you have a flyer that, maybe you can share that, with the attendees. In fact, yesterday was our last day of our early bird, but because today, was the only free time we're able to do this webinar, we're actually extending our early bird prices for another few days, if only for people who are participating in this and clients of Marquee and Connects and all our partners and sponsors. So if anyone is keen, reach out to us and inquire about this experience. And traveling seems to be rather easier now within Indonesia. We can't really travel overseas, but this is a chance. It's a chance to really, really do something totally different that's going to set you up for life. And, looking into the new year in a totally different perspective.
When is the retreat again, Stephanie? The 5 Elements?
16 to the 20th.
December.
December.
Not too long away.
Yeah.
It's close.
December
So,
20th. Yes.
and where is it going to be held?
It's going to be here in Bali at a luxury eco resort called Floating Leaf. And it's actually recognized in the world as the top place for wellness retreats here in Bali. It's a beautiful space, a beautiful healing space. So people have the option of residential, like single occupancy, double occupancy, or even doing the course only, and if they want to stay somewhere else. And we have all the different options. So if you choose residency, everything is provided. You stay in the resort, food's all provided as well, and you're gonna have an amazing experience. Maybe I can type the link for people like in the chat group so that they can go on the website and find out more details and read up about it, because I think someone was asking.
Yeah, actually we already have 2 questions related to the upcoming retreat. The first one is how much,
Yeah.
the price of the retreat, and the second one is how are you going to implement the health protocol regarding the COVID, in this upcoming retreat? Is it? I think they just want to make sure that like it's safe for them to be traveling and then to meet other people. So what do you guys think about that?
So all the travel, however you travel now, there's a whole lot of implementations of protocols now that you're adhered to anyway. During the course anyway, we have our own protocols to keep people in a space where you're safe, because everybody has different views on this, and so we're catering for to keep everybody feeling secure and safe with the whole thing. The good thing about the Qigong, of course, it builds up your immune system, makes you strong, so the chance of you catching things pretty well zero, because it's going to build your immune system up. So it's going to do that. I just want to speak a little bit, just a quick one on one of the reasons why we did this retreat, why we put this retreat together, besides the fact I like teaching live and it does make a difference, is that there was a few people contacting me about how they wanted to just have a break. They wanted to have a break from their work. They wanted to have a break from their life. They wanted to go and do something and just have some time out and go and just have some space that they can just forget about the world for all the stuff that's going on and all the stress that comes with that, and just have a break from that. And I thought it was a great idea, and I said, it was Steph's idea, and I just jumped at the idea of, well, let's do that. Let's create something where people can have some time away from their life. So time away from life, have a break, just get away from all the stresses that's going on, and just have some time for themselves. Just learn something, and if they're going to come some time, let's learn some more about yourself and what you do and what you don't do, and experience that too. So have all of that happening at the same time. So this is one of the parts, was it just to do something for yourself, to take some time out, and have some time for yourself in the world, and get away from all the stuff, and just sit inside in some space where you go, yay, peace and quiet.
We can all definitely need that.
And I think we all need that. And retreat was about how can we create that to have where people can just relax and have some space out for a while from the world. And I think it's a really great way. And I think between the two of us, we've created a really beautiful program where people can just sit inside that space and enjoy themselves, and no pressure. The exercises are relatively easy. Well, they are not relative, they are easy. The food's beautiful, everything's beautiful, and you don't have to do a lot.
Yeah.
And as I say, everything's safe and sound, and we can just go and hang out with some really beautiful people. We've got some really beautiful people coming on this course already that have already subscribed.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a very, very beautiful event, just to get away.
If you guys want to have a look, type out Floating Leaf. So that's the venue we're going to be on. Floating Leaf Eco Luxury Resort. And it's absolutely beautiful. Ocean views, and you get rice paddy around you. And not only that, within the 5 days, because it's 5 elements Qigong, we're immersing ourselves in each of the elements. We're going to be out, so we're going to be doing excursions within nature as well, and learning about all the different archetypes and how these 5 elements work within yourself, your organ functions, and outside of you. You're going to learn about your own individual elements, your own archetype, and by learning that, you can come from a place of how do you interact with people? How do you interact with people in your workplace? You're within your family and friends. So having that better understanding of yourself, and then also by learning that, you get to know okay, what's your boss's elements and archetype? Then okay, this is a way of how I can approach my peer groups, my colleagues, in a way to have that mutual understanding and harmonious relationship, and so if everything is in harmony externally and internally, this is where balance comes in.
And Bali is definitely a perfect place to do that, to retreat.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a healing place that so many people come here for. So we just thought that this would be another perfect opportunity to offer this to people. Yeah.
That's why I live here.
And I mean, for all of the audience out there, speaking as someone who also live in Bali, I can honestly say that, the Balinese people, they take this health precaution and the protocols quite seriously. I mean, people do wear masks, like they implement the social distancing, body check temperature everywhere, so it should be safe.
Yeah. No, it is safe.
It is.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
And someone is also asking is, can Qigong prevent or heal, COVID? And, it is like a practice that we're able to boost our immune system. And the wonderful aspect that it's been never done before is we are integrating medicinal therapeutic grade essential oils along with our practices, because that's also one of my specialties, is using specific plant medicine and pairing that with each of the exercise. So pairing that with each of the exercise and understanding the relationship of that plant, how we're able to boost the functions of that particular organ. And then also with the meridian pathway. So Qigong is powerful already, but now we're going to supercharge it. We're going to turbo boost it with the help of these medicinal grade essential oils so that our bodies and our cells are going to be flowing so beautifully. And we're going to integrate that into, lifestyle. How do you do that? And, seamlessly every day? How is that going to increase, help with mental, emotional, and spiritual sense with our healing and meditation sessions that no one needs to have any experience whatsoever, but, just come and just experience that. And, we look forward. Yeah.
I have a word on that too. So if your body's strong, and you have a lot of power, a lot of energy, you're not going to get sick. It's just really simple. Your immune system's going to be really strong, and the chance of you catching it, and we know when you get run down and tired, then you get colds. You catch things because you just do. If your power is strong, the chance you catch cold is pretty minimal. Yeah, or if not, there's always exceptions. Really, don't get me wrong. There's really super healthy people that sometimes get sick. It just happens. But as a general thing, if you're strong and you've got a lot of energy in your body, it's pretty difficult to get sick. It just is. The same thing if you've got a lot of energy in your body, it's very hard to be depressed. Yeah. And so if I think of, if you think of you've got no energy and you go, oh, I've got no energy, well, then it's quite easy to feel quite down and feel lethargic and feel a bit depressed. But if you're full of energy and you've got vitality, so it's very hard to put your hand on, I'm full of energy and I'm depressed. It doesn't match. And so part of that is when you're in that state of that much health and that much energy, life's very different. Everything's different. Your relationship's different. You feel different with work. You feel different with yourself. You feel different in your health. Everything changes. And all it is we're just telling, or not telling, it's wrong. We're encouraging people to open the possibilities of other ways of doing this to get this power back. And then you can have a very different life. And we don't have to walk around tired every day. We don't have to walk around, feeling the world's tough every day. We can walk around saying, hey, the world's fantastic. What are we going to do today? And let's do something like that. And it's just our version to help people discover that.
And, within these 5 days, you will have the tools and knowledge to go home and implement this and have a totally different experience in life moving forward. Because it's not something that you just come here and experience and then you go home to what you've been doing every day before that and years. You're going to go home with tools where you're going to be able to cope wherever you are, whatever situation you're in, to manage it better. Yeah. So I know a lot of people in, major cities are stressed, with career, work and maybe family. So having and given these resources and tools is going to be absolutely beneficial moving forward, being there.
Okay. Wow, that's.
So Ben, have we talked you into wanting to come now?
Exactly. I was thinking about that.
You are already in Bali.
You're already here.
Yeah. Just have to go across the other side of the island.
Yeah, not very far to go.
Where is the resort located again?
It's in Ketawel, so Gianyar.
Okay, yeah.
So Sukawati, not up Sukawati, but near the bypass, the main road, just off it. Yeah. So it's about 20 minutes from Sanur.
Exactly. It's not far at all.
not far, so we've chosen a prime location for it. And if someone was also asking about COVID protocols, the resort itself has extreme measures when it comes to protocols that they've implemented. And over the years, they've hosted like leading, like amazing top-notch retreats. Their service is impeccable. You walk in, and this is their tagline, like walk in, float out. And you literally gonna be having an amazing experience. They'll know you personally, what you like, what you don't like, and it's very personalized. Service is amazing.
So Ben, this is one for you. So during those 4 days, I know you're a busy man, and come up to Floating Leaf for one of the days, or come up for a morning and come do a practice with us, on us. Come and train.
Thank you.
Because you've opened a store for us, okay. Experience yourself, and it's a pleasure to have you in the class. Yeah, and you can have the experience. And you can float home as well.
Thank you, Peter and Stephanie.
No, you're very welcome.
So, okay, I see several questions already posted by our audience. I know we have addressed some of them, but most of them we haven't. So, let's go over the questions, yeah?
Sure.
So the first one, I think it's straight to Peter from Farel. So, hi, Peter. May I know about those Qigong enable make yourself to be balanced? For example, the balancing elements, and could one person change their element in order to be peaceful by learning this Qigong? Sorry if I pronounce it wrong.
That's okay. So quick, because there's a few questions, so I won't go too deep into it, but yes, you can't challenge the element you're born and you have a personality element that you're attached to. You can't change that. But what you can do is balance all the other elements in your body, your attachment to those and how they work, because a lot of the elements are associated with different organs. So you can balance each of the organs and each of the elements inside your body, yes. But the question about your own element, that your primary personality element, you won't change that, but you just make it stronger, and you'll focus on more of the positive aspects of that element and more defaulting into the not so positive aspects when you're tired. You'll actually default into the positive ones. And that's I think that's what that person is asking. And hopefully that's answered it. But please, if there's any more to that, please ask more, because it's a big question you've asked. Yeah. Cheers.
Okay. Second question also for Peter. This is from Emmeline. I have been campaigning Qigong to my office mates here in Jakarta since visiting Kunming, China in September 2019. I came to appreciate Qigong seeing those women doing it near the Taiji River in Hunan province. How to convince people to practice Qigong sessions?
Yeah, good luck. So it's a great question. You mind my jocularity. So it's difficult. The best way I think that you can inspire for people to do Qigong is be the example of it working. Be the example in your life that you have full of energy, you're happy, you're content, you're doing things in life that you love, and then people go, why are you so happy? So I could practice Qigong. Yeah, and so part of it is, I think, is it's not being the preacher of it, it's actually being the walker of it. You walk your talk. You walk living the life that you think is working. And if you're doing that, then people are encouraged to follow your example. Yeah. But if you're walking around and you're tired and you're bitchy and you're not happy, and they say, oh, come do Qigong, and they go, well, I said, that's what's happening, I'm not really interested. But if you're walking around and you're happy and you're lively and you've got plenty of energy and you go, well, what are you having? I want more of that. And I believe that is the example, because then it's working in your life. It's working in her life. So when she is doing it and she feels that, then other people will be encouraged to want to experience the same thing. Yep. That's the short version of that answer too.
And I think also vibrationally and energetically, you emanate this energy that gets infectious. So people around you, actually, they feel it. Like they may not understand it or they can't explain it, but within the vicinity, there's some sort of like a magnetic draw to that person, and they're just curious. They were like, what is it about this person that I want to know more of? Or what is she or he doing that is making them that way? So exactly, it's just being that example, and by just being yourself, that's being good enough for yourself, actually sets that ripple effect to people around you to start looking into it for their own lives. So you're just being that example, and everything else will just kind of happen when the person is ready.
Okay, thank you about that. And Emlyn also says thank you to both of you for answering the questions. So the next question will be, this one in Bahasa Indonesia, so I will translate it to you. Can Qigong heal luka batin? Inner wound? Can Qigong heals inner wound, like emotional wound?
Oh.
Well, that one's for me.
Yeah.
Yours, this one. Yes. Because first of all, the bit more expanded answer would be, first of all, we have to find out where the inner wound comes from and how it started, and then how it's affecting the body, how it's affecting the energy of the body, and what part of the body it's affecting. Is it affecting the heart? Is it affecting the digestion? And then working out that way, then we can work out how to change it. Yep. So we can take away the effect it's had on the body, and then bring about a change in the body to rectify the damage it's done. And then we can always address the wound itself and be able to bring light into that to see it a different way, so that we can have a chance to release it and let it go. Yeah. And then so we can be free from it. Yeah, great question. The person who asked that question, thank you for that question.
All right, thank you, Peter. And okay, I somehow knew that someone will ask this question. Can Qigong heal or prevent COVID? I think this is something that I'm sure everybody have in their mind, especially if they have no idea what Qigong is.
You ready?
Are you ready? Yes.
Do elaborate on that.
But first of all, but without getting too much into the science behind COVID, the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, you have to understand about viruses. I'm a medical person. You have to understand the how viruses work and how they transmute to each other and how they transmute inside themselves. They change form, and how people have been treating viruses for a long, long time. And they mutate and build up an immunity to them. And so you can't catch that particular version of it, but then it mutates into another one, and then you get that virus, and then you build up immune systems for that as well. So what the Qigong does is allow you to build up a strength that when you go fighting the virus, you have more power than the virus does. And then you're going to override it because of your ability to produce the antibodies that will fight it. Yeah. But if you're older and you don't have the energy, and I say this, and unfortunately it does affect older people because they don't have that vitality. They don't have the power anymore. So when they get a bug that's quite strong, if they don't have the power to fight it, then it has a bigger effect. But if we're a younger person and you've got lots of power, your immune system is just strong, it will just beat it. So the answer to the question, does Qigong? Yes, Qigong gives you the strength to go into battle with the COVID, and it will not win, you will win. Yeah, you'll be too strong for it. Your immune system will just override it. Yeah, you get a flu virus and it's gone in 2 days, it's gone. Yeah, because the COVID, the mortality of the COVID is not hugely strong. A few people catch it. It's just like the flu they catch. But it's the stronger you are. If you're really strong, you don't even catch the flu anyway. So even this one, I'm just saying it because that's probably enough to say that because it's such a big subject. But the answer to that is the stronger you are, the less chance it's going to even touch you. It just won't get you. Your immune's going to be too strong.
Actually, what you're saying is it's very scientific. It does make a lot of sense. So for the person who asked that question, yes, the answer is yes, and the reason behind it is very scientific. All right, so I think we've covered all of the questions, and it's almost 90 minutes actually that we've talked about this. So it's been a very fruitful discussion about Qigong and the history and the depth of Qigong. So again, since we've covered a lot of portions about the retreat, can you remind all the audience again, when is the extension for the
early bird going to be expired, so they don't miss it?
Okay, so we're going to, should we leave it till Friday? Yeah, so we're going to leave it till Friday. So this Friday, November 27th. So if you go to that link that's in the chat box, that's the link to the website, and you can find out all the information there, as well as the prices, even bookings that you can go and leave your details, and we will honor the early bird prices for you till Friday.
Just mention that you come on this webinar so that we know that where you come from, and so we can give you the other price for it, the early bird price for it. You're very welcome.
So December 16th to the 20th. And yes, we absolutely look forward to having you here. Yeah, and having this experience. Yeah.
Right. So I've just posted one more time the link to the website that Stephanie and Peter just mentioned. And I did take a peek, and the early bird price is definitely worth it compared to the original price, yeah? Yes. So don't miss this chance. It's only until Friday. So today is Tuesday. So you have a couple of days to think about it, like research all what you need to research, but make sure you take advantage of the extension on the early bird. All right, Peter and Stephanie. So thank you so much once again, yeah? Before we conclude the session, any parting words before we end the session, like to our audience?
Ben, I'll see you on the course.
See you on the course. Very simple. See you on the course. It's going to be worth it.
I know what I'm saying is I'll see you. Come up for a day. Come and visit us while we're out of there. Get out of the office. Come and visit us and come and do some Qigong with us, man.
All right.
I'm sure you enjoy it. For everybody else, come and do it. Yeah, it's just that simple. Come and do it. Make a difference. It's one of these courses when you finish it, you're going to say to yourself, I'm very glad I spent those days. You'll say that. I guarantee that at the end of it, I can ask you, you'll say, I'm glad I made that time to do that. Yep.
And it really is a one-of-a-kind retreat that we're putting together right now. It's never been done before. So it's an opportunity. It truly is an opportunity to really take that step for yourselves. Yeah. I mean, like I was sharing earlier, first 5 days that I did with Peter years ago, I walked out, changed my life. And again, I wish, for you all to have this experience as well. 5 days. It's all it takes in the bigger scheme of things.
And if you don't want to change your life, that's fine. It'll just make the life you've got now even better. How's that?
Yeah.
Nicely said. Nicely said.
Yeah.
All right. So again, thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Thanks for the
it's a pleasure to have you guys today. And best of luck for the retreat, and hopefully, we'll see you there, yeah?
Yes. Well, we will see you. We will see you.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Okay. So, audience, thank you very much for joining in today. I hope we are able to provide you with new information about Qigong, and then there's, again, a great opportunity to learn. There's an upcoming retreat, very special price, extended special for today's webinar audience until Friday. Okay, so don't miss it. And I'm just gonna, before we part ways, I'm just gonna put it in the chat room again, the link to our upcoming events. If you need to find out more about our upcoming events, tomorrow we have another webinar on women in business. The registration and information is all there, okay? And for the retreat, the link is also still in the chat room, okay? Do check it out. It's going to be very great, okay? So thank you once again, everyone. See you in the next opportunity. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.